Oh,
There we go.
Really synchronized. Wow.
That was good. That was a good.
I'm really
I wish the
impressed.
clap was part of the episode.
So much rhythm.
Yes.
For two white people. Yeah.
To be able to clap for two white people to be able to clap at the same time.
Yeah. As a brown person, that's impressive.
We're basically like Ronnie. You know who am I thinking of? Michael Jackson. We're like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
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 What did I want to say? I don't know.
No, never mind. I can't say that. I was gonna.
Maybe I was about to say Ray Charles. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, thank you. The lights.
Okay, that would be important.
I was going to say Ray Charles or James Brown.
Okay.
And I almost said Ray Brown.
Okay.
Which is like what my aunt would do.
Okay.
But that's what I'm letting you know, the play-by-play. That's what happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Put it together in your mind.
Welcome, guys. This is Ben the Menace. We have a great guest.
Mac
Guys,
Lawson.
I know you've been like, Ben, it's a lot of solo episodes. It's a lot of interviews with men. Could you just get some TNA on the podcast?
What's TNA?
Could you get a woman who's on OnlyFans on the podcast?
Wow. Just straight to it.
And we brought you what you've been asking for.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is my couch interview.
This is
my, you know what is it called? Casting couch.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a rare episode of the Casting Couch where the guy interviewing the woman is also on the couch.
Yeah. It's both of our interview.
We're both being interviewed at the same time. They didn't have the Casting Couch didn't have enough time in their schedule. They're like, let's just do two at once. A man and a woman.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're visiting LA. I know you from before the pandemic.
Yeah, I used to live out here. I'm from Virginia, but during the pandemic, I just reached a certain point where I was like, I can't do anything else. I have to leave. I did everything I could do from my house, and then
it's funny that you say that because I've been saying that since I moved here.
Oh, really?
And I haven't left.
You still haven't left.
I've been saying that for more than 5 years.
That's
I
funny.
have to leave, and I'm still here.
I still leave.
Yeah, I'm in
stay.
Kelvin's fucking apartment right now filming.
I mean, I guess like I left, and then my apartment in Miami, it just has this beautiful view. And
You lived there before, right? Before you moved here? Or?
I lived in Tampa before.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but then I moved to Miami. I had this beautiful view, and I was like looking at apartments in LA, and I was just like,
Stay in Miami.
I don't really have to go to LA. Let me wait till I'm like so rich that I can buy a house in LA or something.
Yeah, Florida's cheap. I like Florida.
Cheaper compared to LA, yeah. So
Miami's probably not that cheap.
Yeah, during the pandemic, my rent went up from the first year to the second year. It went up $500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but still cheaper than here.
Yeah, I did like during lockdown. I went to Florida.
Miami.
Yeah, because I wanted to do shows.
Of course. Well, you wanted to do something, right?
Yes. I went to Arizona, Austin,
and like Texas,
and Florida.
Yeah.
And I did all of Florida.
Yeah.
And I had such a good time.
Oh, they're so great. Well, originally I went to Dallas, and my friend was opening up a club, and so I helped them open up the nightclub.
Nightclub.
But
I was ask for a distinction because you do comedy.
Yes, yeah.
But maybe you guys can pick up on this. There's some nightlife.
Yes.
happening as well.
Well, I started off that weekend like I didn't know that they were going to do this, but they actually had a nightclub and they had a comedy club in the back.
Oh,
so it
nice.
ended up just being like the stars aligning.
That was in Dallas.
That was in Dallas.
Okay.
Technically Fort Worth, but I ended up opening up for Steve Trevino for the weekend.
That's
and
cool.
I was a brand new comic.
Yeah. That's a good experience.
So it was really cool, and he said I did a good job, and he kept having me on, so that was awesome.
Well, we all know Steve lies a lot. No,
yeah.
That's
I
very
still
cool.
did it.
No, that's great, and
Yeah.
you get so much better doing that.
Yeah, and it was just I felt really good about all of my sets, and so because I pretty much started comedy, and then the pandemic happened.
Right.
So
I remember that.
Yeah, so I didn't really even get a chance to get good to do anything before the pandemic started.
Right.
So it was a nice like confidence booster to kind of keep me going.
Yeah, I mean you get so many. You're doing 2 shows a night. You get multiple sets in.
Yeah.
Like you just grease the groove, and by the end of the weekend, you're a different comic.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, I could actually really do this. Because at
That's
first
cool.
it was just like forcing myself to do it, even though I was like pretty much bombing every time.
When you first start, it's painful.
Yeah, it's painful. You have to be overly confident when you first start. So
Well, you have to be like okay with the worst feedback possible.
Yeah.
Which is actually what's happening right now.
dead silence. Yeah.
Kelvin's a quiet guy, but this is what it's when you start out comedy. It sounds like this. Listen.
Yeah.
Like that.
Until the comic after you gets up and makes fun of you.
Yeah, and then that person destroys.
Yeah. Well, my first show, I was on this show in West Hollywood that was like all famous comedians.
Oh, shit.
And how I got on it was I was the events coordinator at the venue.
Got it.
And so I basically was like, hey, if you guys want to do this, you have to give me 5 minutes every
Great.
set. So
you gave yourself a guest spot?
I forced myself upon the show, but it was cool because
You get better doing that too?
I just was forced to play with the big dogs right away.
Wait, were you running a show with Mary Elaine Ramsey?
That is the show.
Was the show. Okay.
Had no business.
That was a
being
good
on
show.
It's a great show.
Yeah, you had killer lineups. And you guys both did time on it. That was a fun show. I watched multiple of those shows.
I had a couple good sets, but I mean, it was just like I was so not fit to be on that show, and I love that I still fucking did it.
That's also how you get good.
Yeah, that's how you grow. You have to kind of like, step into bigger shoes every single time. So
also, I kind of think that like, I might be wrong, but I think audiences that go to really good shows like that, they're going to give you more than you would get at a show with your peers.
Yeah. And it was cool to see famous aged comedians get psyched out before they went on stage. Yeah. Because then I was like, oh, they're going to do it. Everyone does it. Yes. Okay. So it kind of set me up in a really good way after that, because I realized, okay, they're just the same as I am.
Yeah, totally.
Just like they know more tricks.
They've been doing it for 20 years. You're going to learn something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was cool.
That's great. I almost forgot about that. I went to some of those. That was cool. Yeah. That was on Melrose?
Yeah, I was at my old job called the Phoenix. It's a cool bar.
It was, yeah. Honestly, I going there, I was just like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
It's like too cool. Everybody's way too cool. Yeah. A lot of nice cars. You probably made good money doing that. I mean, you strike me like someone, you almost seem like the exact opposite of me in this way.
Okay.
I feel like you can't help but just make tons of money. She comes in here and she's like, yeah, I have my second apartment. This girl is staying at my third. I'm like, I've never had more than part of an apartment. Not even a full one, just like a section.
Oh, well, there's two different ways that you can make money as a girl. And you
I don't know where you're going with this.
So listen. So you can either you can completely cut it off and just don't let men ever sexualize you. Don't play into it ever.
Okay, so that's called being a lesbian, right?
Yeah, or just like being an uptight bitch.
Which also is a lesbian a lot of times.
or you can look at, or you can, I don't know, lesbians are probably
There's types of lesbians.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure lesbians come a lot, but I don't know. If you can convince me.
Hey, you know what? That's what I should have said.
Yeah. But, or you can kind of say, there is this like wage gap or whatever, that you can argue exists or doesn't exist. So why don't I just let the guys fawn over me a little bit and make more money? Yes. So I ended up...
You're your own bait.
Pretty much. Yeah. And so I started off like I kind of was going down the legal route. I was wanted to be an attorney, which maybe one day I still will. But then I got into bottle service. And
it's an obvious segue.
Just so, right? Fuck this. I'm going to do a bottle. I want to hang out with drug dealers and divorcees.
Or a bottle service girl. It's funny.
It's pretty much the same thing. You're hanging out with drug dealers and divorcees. Just one, you're making more money and doing less work.
Yes, I actually have. I have an anecdote. Keep going. I want to hear more about this, but I shouldn't have been surprised because that does make sense.
Oh, really?
In hindsight, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did bottle service, and just for my 20s, I had a really uptight upbringing. I was a
Christian?
I was homeschooled and a level 10 gymnast.
Boo.
So I didn't
homeschooled.
I had no fun. It was like I was employee my whole childhood. So bottle service for me for 5, 6 years, 7 years of my 20s basically was really fun. And
can you still do some gymnastic stuff?
Yeah.
You can do like back handsprings, no problem.
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
People who do child gymnastics, like I've seen people who are like obese.
Still be able to do it.
No, who did gymnastics, and I'm like, how about you're 300 pounds and you can do a handstand?
See,
you hold on to so much.
I could never even get obese because my coaches were so hard on me.
Sorry.
No, but I'm saying, I have like this psychological problem. I look at me, I'm like, you're so fat. And so my coach is talking to me.
It's still in your head.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm thankful for it now.
Well, honestly, it's a work ethic that you're applying. You're benefiting from it.
Yeah. It's abuse.
And you're not fat, which is also awesome.
Yeah. My coaches would look at my page and be like, she's fat. Like, yeah, of course.
Wow.
I don't know. But yeah, so I did the bottle service. That was fun money. But the thing about me is like, I'm the type of person where I just like to have fun. Mm-mm. So especially during my 20s, now I'm a little bit more responsible financially, but I'd make $4 or $5 grand and I'm like, well, I'm going on a trip.
Yeah, I've done that.
Or I'm moving to California.
Sure.
Or, just dumb shit.
Well, yeah, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I understand now. And what you've done is the best of both worlds. So your lifestyle or your day-to-day isn't as rigid as it was. There's not someone like watching everything you're doing, critiquing you.
Yeah.
But you got a work ethic from the gymnastics.
Yeah.
And now you're just doing whatever the fuck you want, but somehow earning more than enough money while doing that because of the work ethic you developed from gymnastics.
Yeah. And now, so I have a non-nude OnlyFans. So a lot of people will be like, oh, she sold her vagina. So now she's, making a lot of money. First off, even the girls who have nude on their OnlyFans, it's actually a lot of work because it's so oversaturated. And if you're not like a public figure, you're really not going to make that much money on it. And I actually got on OnlyFans because of comedy. So during COVID, I was online applying to any grant I could, any agency I could, any audition I could. And I started working with this agency. They reached out to me like 2 years ago. Hey, we need comedians on OnlyFans. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like my family's going to disown me if I get on that website. And then she explained it to me. You don't have to do any nudity. You just have to do this. And I was like, all right, let me try it. And I remember I just gone through a breakup and I'm like, let me just see if I send a picture of me in my bra, what happens. And I took a selfie of me in my bra and I made like $200. And I was like, okay, this is my job now. So yeah. So then it's been really nice actually. OnlyFans is actually very creator focused and it's actually very comedy focused. So they really were telling me the truth when they wanted comedians on there. So now it's been like kind of a really lucky like merging of worlds where they actually are pushing my comedy.
Well, people will listen to like a podcast with OnlyFans people or something like that.
Yeah, I think for the guys, it's obvious, like, especially the girls that do like full nudity and stuff. It's like these guys are on there, like seeing them naked. It's kind of cool to like watch them on a podcast. They're obsessed. And I think my fans are a little obsessed with me as well.
if you're stalking someone, you're like, oh, they're at the grocery store too.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw them naked in their house and now they're in the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So it's been cool. And, I'm really honest with my subscribers. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to do full nudity, but, what you see here.
But some of them are probably like, maybe she'll change her mind.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But I'm naturally kind of like more reserved. And so for me, it's like maybe the content isn't so crazy. Some girls probably post more on Instagram. Like I've seen girls topless on Instagram.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So, but for me, that's my boundary. So if you want to see it, you're going to have to pay. So that's kind of how I view it.
Understandable. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
What I was going to say earlier is like when I was in college, when I was in grad school, I wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long story. I did a thesis. I did it was an I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast, an ethnographic case study on highly educated strippers.
Oh, wow.
But this is similar to what you said before.
Yeah.
So a lot of these women were like paying their way through grad school by stripping.
Yep.
And then actually what it ended up being about was that women, a lot of the time when they start stripping, they're like, this pays better than being a nurse.
Yeah. And
so I'm just going to keep stripping.
Yeah. And it's almost like a little bit more safe because as a girl, like you're constant, I'm not a man hating girl, but as a girl, you're constantly getting hit on by men. It's just human nature.
Yes.
So in a work environment, maybe you have HR and stuff like that, but still stuff kind of slips through the cracks. But if you're at like a nightclub and somebody, says something inappropriate, you can just go, fuck you, I'm going to get my manager and kick him out right away. It's a little more difficult in like a traditional work setting to navigate that. Does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah.
More like in your face. It's almost easier to deal with. So.
Well, they can continue at a nightclub. They will continue to make money as long as you're happy.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're protected a little more.
The boys' club of a law firm,
right?
They want to keep the guy who's sexually harassing women happy some of the time.
And and you're not as prioritized. So, and then the dynamic is changing in the world, and I'm definitely not like a man hater. But for me, it was just kind
Anyone
of
who
like
says I'm not a man hater twice in a minute
I used to be.
has hated
I've
a
grown
lot
out.
of men.
Well,
Yeah.
I've been through some shit, but I just
There's types of men too.
yes, and that's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Some better men have come in and like changed my perception, but it's just fun, honestly. Like, and I'll be there like, why would I go back and work at a law firm when I can work 2 nights a week and make $1,500, and I get to drink while I'm at work.
Yeah. So
And I get to meet all these rich guys who like are in love with me and want to take me on vacations and all of this. So I loved it.
you don't want to know, minus the rich guys taking me on vacations.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what I would do for that kind of money.
Go work in WeHo.
Oh no, I
You
can't.
could do it in
I can't
WeHo
do
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Okay. Commit to the bit. Go
I've been
for
with
it.
gay friends. No, I can't do that. Well, because like there's a slight difference. Like I think that the male version of that is like I'm gay for pay. First of all,
Yeah.
like my penis is out.
Yeah.
It's like it's actually out.
Or like mostly out. Yeah.
Yeah, and the equivalent of your penis is not out.
True. And the thing is, I don't really, you don't always really like the guys either though. So that's the downside. But
Yeah, well,
I
I
would
could
never fake it.
If I was in WeHo, I would only be faking it.
True.
That'd be my job
True,
would be
yes.
to fake not only that I'm into
Yes.
these guys, but who I am.
Yeah.
I go, hey guys, what's up? I love having my penis out.
That's true. Yeah, I'm completely lying
My
to
favorite
yourself.
thing to do is take my penis out
For
in
all
front
of you
men.
to see, for
Yeah.
men to see. Yeah.
Only men.
I mean, most men's favorite thing to do is to take their penis
yeah,
out.
yeah,
But
in private.
some of them around women, some of them around men.
yeah. But in front of like 40 guys, I don't know if I could handle that.
Makes sense.
There's got to be some trauma associated with that. If you're like a gay for pay guy,
Maybe. I don't know.
does it affect you psychologically? What do you think?
I have a friend who's straight who does gay for pay.
And he's happy.
He's making good money on OnlyFans.
How much fentanyl does he do?
He's making like $6,000 a month.
That's fucking crazy. Maybe I should just do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it. I don't know.
And I'm like, I asked
this
him
could
if-
be the episode where I decide. This could be a completely different podcast
Yeah.
afterwards.
It's going to be a travel podcast.
It's called Ben the Menace. Soon it's going to be called Ben Gay for Pay.
Ben the Men.
Yes, yeah. Or how about just Ben the Penis?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
work.
interesting. I've heard of that. I understand that people do it. There's a level of desperation in it for men that I don't think applies to women. I think if you're doing it as a woman, there's almost like a feministic aspect to it. You're like, I'm okay with being this much of a woman and taking control of my life and making some money. Is anything horrible happening? What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you at bottle service? What's like the most unsettling thing?
I mean, I've been sexually assaulted as far
that's
as
not
like,
great.
But like slapped in the ass, like slapped on my ass. But the thing is like
I've been slapped in my ass.
But it's like, okay, so as a woman, for me, especially with like the OnlyFans thing, like I've had people coming to me, even when I was like a virgin, I have had people coming to me being like, oh, like I'm like jerking off to your photos or like saying inappropriate things, even when I was like a wholesome Christian girl. And so for me, it's like, when I finally made the decision to do it, it's like, well, I'm not doing anything different.
Right.
It's just now I'm actually in charge of what's going on. Whereas before, men were just harassing me for free. Now I'm just like giving them this content and they're paying for it. So kind of a win.
Makes a ton of sense. You're taking the power back.
Taking the power back. I love it. So my dad was a drummer. And so part of the thing that sticks, he wasn't around for much, but one of the things that sticks out in my mind, no, I mean, whatever. But one of the things that sticks out in my mind is we'd be dancing and he would like be like, nah, if you dance off rhythm, like he would be so embarrassed.
Oh, interesting.
So we all have like good rhythm because of my dad.
You're trained.
Yeah, he was.
His whole job is to have
His whole job was to have rhythm.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
My dad is a Jewish
Okay.
writer, basically.
Okay, so you're good at budgeting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good at
good at writing budgets.
I'm good at sitting at a typewriter.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
No rhythm.
Did he just sit there and type?
He did copywriting mostly.
Okay.
So he didn't even type that much.
Oh wow.
It's like one
Interesting.
sentence at a time. You know, like Don Draper.
I don't know who that is.
You watched Mad Men?
No.
Ever? No.
No.
It's you might not have seen it because it's not on OnlyFans. There might be an
only watch
OnlyFans parody.
I watch Family Guy and OnlyFans. That's it. That's as much like that goes on up here.
You know how when you're watching Family Guy, there are ads sometimes?
Yes.
He used to write those professionally. That was like
that's
his.
cool.
Yeah, it's a good job. It
Good
pays
job.
well. You have to really have. He's not watching this. You have to have no soul to do it.
No.
But it's not a bad job.
I see.
Yeah. We were just talking. This is the OnlyFans stuff is very interesting to me because I know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've logged on once.
He's like, except for I've spent like thousands of dollars on your page.
Except for the
my username is 880. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Except for paying your rent single-handedly.
Yeah.
I know nothing about it.
Oh wow.
You're saying that they want to turn it into like Patreon. They want to turn it into more of an entertainment platform.
Yeah, that's originally why they reached out to me. They were like, hey, we see you're a stand-up comedian. We'll promote your page for free on OnlyFans, and you don't have to post any sexual content. In fact, we want you to primarily focus on your comedy. And this was like 2.5 years ago. And at first I was like, no way, like, no. But then I did it. And they recently, like, Whitney Cummings is on there. They're doing roasts on there.
Wow. So
a
what's
lot
Whitney
of big
Cummings? What is she doing on it?
comedy.
She's posting stand-up clips.
Yeah, and I think, as a girl, you're kind of dumb if you don't play into it a little bit, right? Like post, whatever you
Raunchy.
feel comfortable with. Yeah, like that's what I do. Like I'm not, spreading on there or anything,
Okay.
but
So we're not getting full vagina.
you're not getting any vagina or any boobs or anything. But if there's sexy photos on there, why would I not make that extra
It only
money?
helps. It's advertising,
as long as I'm
self-advertising.
comfortable with it,
Okay. But Whitney Cummings is posting like sex jokes.
She's just doing like stuff that she's not she'll do behind the scenes.
Okay.
I don't know because I actually haven't paid for hers, but from what it sounds like, she's doing like behind the scenes stuff, just stuff that you wouldn't see on her regular social media. And I think that's where a lot of the comedians are going with it. Like, oh, these are my jokes, or this is what happens in the green room, stuff like that.
Got it. Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. I am wondering if it's going to end up lending itself towards like funny porn. like you're not spread eagle, but maybe someone is, and then they fart. That's funny.
Yeah.
Hey,
that
look
would
at
be
this.
a whole new thing. Yeah. Would that
Yeah.
defeat the purpose?
I think it pretty much. You'd be like, well, this is really hot. Oh no, I'm not interested.
That's kind of. That's kind of.
What about not donkey shows, but like women shooting ping pong out of their vaginas. I've heard of that. Never seen it.
There's some weird stuff on the internet.
That's something I would pay $7 for.
You would be surprised the weird shit that I get asked. Like, if I was this one that creeps me out every time. Apparently, there's a lot of people who think I look like a giant on the internet, and that's like a fetish. That's like a fetish.
I don't even understand. You look like Shrek or something?
Yeah, well, Indian in the Cupboard. Indian in the Cupboard or whatever. It's like a movie about the little like Indian thing. Oh, it creeps me out. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. And now they would call that person formerly known as Native American.
Yeah,
in the
Native
cupboard.
American. Yeah. Well, it's like this
indigenous person in the cupboard.
yeah. And the evil colonizer, which is me.
Yeah.
But he basically like they reach out to me and they're like, if I was this small, like, what would you do if you saw me? Would you squash me? And they want me to like talk about how I would squash them and obliterate them and step on them. And I'm like, this is so creepy. You couldn't tip me enough to play along.
You're one of the most normal sized. This is not an outrageous compliment. You're very normal sized.
I guess.
Why do they think you're a giant?
I guess some of my pictures on the internet, I just look like
big.
Like I do kind of have like a muscular build from gymnastics.
Yeah,
Maybe
sure,
that's
sure.
why. But they want to like play pretend where they're these like small little people that I just crush all day long.
But I've seen women who are humongous.
Yeah. I think it's more of your structure.
But there's like women who take steroids who have like 4-inch clits. Like they're huge.
Yeah. That's bigger than some of my exes.
Yeah, there's women with
Where are these girls at?
clit penises.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I am a lesbian.
Have them on your OnlyFans. Why are they not asking them? I guess they're into you and they like the idea of you being a giant.
I guess it's just some of my pictures, but that's like, and then just such weird stuff, man. I probably blocked out anything other than that, but it just like sticks in my head. And then I'll get these weird messages like, I just walked into my roommate, laying on the ground dead, and I'll get a message like that. And I'm like, what? Like, and the first thing you decided to do was to sign on OnlyFans and message me about it. Like I get the weirdest messages on there because I guess they're able to hide behind like a profile where it's not really them. And sometimes I just can't fucking do it. I'm just like, I got to get off here.
Okay.
Yeah. Weirdos.
Yeah. That sounds odd. I mean, it sounds like it's maybe not a stretch of the imagination to think that there may be some troubled people on OnlyFans.
Yeah. But then again, it's also like I really do actually like, I don't mind it. Like I don't mind going on there. But then occasionally I get these weird messages and I'm just like, ugh, God, just please.
I mean, I get that on Instagram.
Yeah, me too.
You're going to get it anywhere.
Yeah, you're going to get it anywhere. Exactly.
But I would guess that they're going to be a little weirder on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And even on Patreon. Like if there's a paywall or if it's like a little off the beaten path, people are going to be odd.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm paying for this, so you should answer this weird question.
Yeah, or like I'm embarrassed to say this on a normal platform,
yeah.
but here we are.
I'm like, what
you're
am
a giant.
Yeah, you're a giant.
You're stepping on me.
Clearly your brain is bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Being that you're a giant. But yeah. So fucking weirdos.
But people are responding to the comedy content. You're recommending that I do comedy on OnlyFans.
I just think that with all of the financial backing that they have, and then the CEO who's very creator focused, I'm talking like, content creator.
To everybody.
Yeah. And especially comedians. I think that anybody who's doing anything on the internet, which is 90% of people, should do OnlyFans. And I'm not just saying that. They're not.
So you're not saying
me
just me in particular should do OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You're not saying that.
No,
I wanted you to. No, you don't.
I mean, I think you should. But the thing is, with all other platforms, you kind of have to rely on the platform itself. Like, oh, you have to adhere by their rules, or, you have to get paid in ads, or you have to get approved to be like, paid on YouTube or whatever. But on OnlyFans, you just sign up, you submit all your information, and you immediately can make money. And that's what's cool about it is you're in charge.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think you should.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
What if I do gambling content? Would they be? Yeah. Are people into that?
People are into everything on the internet. Let me tell you.
Well, you don't have to tell me about the internet. I'm wondering about OnlyFans.
But that's the thing is, OnlyFans is getting so big.
Okay. I just didn't know that.
Ellen DeGeneres is on it. I saw that the other day.
What is she doing?
Comedy.
What?
And lesbian porn.
She's fully clothed? She's not naked?
I don't know. I haven't subscribed. But I saw that the other day. I was like, well, damn, that's huge.
If she's doing it, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Well, Whitney Cummings and her are both huge.
But only one do I want to see naked. Yeah. Sorry, Ellen.
And Ellen, it's Ellen. I want to see Ellen naked.
Yeah, it's Ellen, obviously.
I want to see, which is basically saying I want to see David Spade naked. Yeah. I want to see a blonde boy.
That's funny.
Okay, that's interesting. That segues nicely into what we were talking about this before a little bit. We talk about dating a lot on this show. Like people ask dating questions. People of me, like I get some directed at me
like
sometimes.
Comments and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
What's going on in your dating? Like, do you have any? You were looking at before we. I think you're an interesting, nuanced person. But before this episode, you were like, "Oh, my astrological." I almost canceled the episode. You're talking about your astrological sign. You're like, I'm doing my reading right now. I was almost like, you can't come in. You're not allowed to do the show.
There's an astrologer.
Too much of a stereotype.
There's an astrologer that I watch. There's only one. And she's extremely accurate.
OnlyFans, baby.
No, she's on YouTube. Her name's Baba Jolie.
Okay.
But,
it's a good plug.
Yeah. But she's cool. She just does a reading. Every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, that's fucking accurate as fuck.
Okay, so what did it say? Are you willing to?
She said that there was going to be a friend that confessed their feelings for me.
No, I'm just kidding.
And she said that I was going to meet somebody soon in a group setting that made me feel comfortable, and that we were going to fall in love.
Yeah, and the person's named Bubba Sparks. Just a random.
It's just a random person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got
it. Okay. Well, that's pretty normal stuff, and that's something to look forward to, right?
Yeah. I mean, if it happens, she was pretty accurate too. She was talking about, because I've had a rough. I mean, everyone has been through shit, but specifically me, like I just have been very cut off to the idea of a relationship because I went through a bad relationship like 5 years ago that really messed up my life. So I made a conscious decision to make my life so good that a relationship couldn't ruin it again. You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe a little defensive, but it's good.
A little defensive, but it worked in my favor.
Yeah, hey, it's working.
Everything's been going really well, and I kind of feel like I'm at the point now where, because it's different. People date all the time, girls and boys.
Sure.
Girls are actually more guilty and lie to themselves more about it. Girls will be dating, having sex, but they'll actually be closed off to actual love. They'll be emotionally unavailable. They'll pretend like they're not.
Yeah.
They'll just blame the guy for everything when in reality, they're also not open to love.
Yeah.
They find things wrong with the guy before the guy's even ever done anything wrong.
Sure. Judging in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I've done it a
Yeah.
million times.
So I feel like I'm finally in a place where I want to start dating. I'm 32. I want to, have kids in the next 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah. Ticking time bomb. Unless you want to freeze your eggs.
No.
And you got money, so you could do it.
I could. Yeah.
That's a joke that I've been doing on stage. Who freezes their eggs?
Oh, really?
Women who are impossible to deal with. That's who freezes their eggs.
That's pretty funny.
It's true.
That's pretty funny. Well, I learned the other day that when you get pregnant, your foot grows a whole shoe size.
Whoa, out.
And so in my mind, I'm like, I love my feet. I think they're a great size. They're 7.5.
They're making you money on OnlyFans.
Not as much as they should probably, but I'm like, so I'm going to turn into Bigfoot?
Right. Well, you're
Because this little brat.
Now, what it could do is feed into that the giant fantasy that we were talking about.
Yeah, probably just feed more into it.
You could track your foot progress and make money.
Yeah.
There's some benefits, but I get it. I do get it. So are you the kind of person who's going to be making enough money that you would consider a surrogate to carry your baby?
No, I'll probably still do it.
Like Cameron Diaz?
I'll still do it because I'm just so greedy. I'm like, I don't want somebody else's blood helping grow my egg. Like that's my egg.
So you're not against
my
it?
genes. I'm against it for my kids.
Right.
If somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. But I'm just arrogant. I'm like, I want to. That's my baby, my genes. I don't need anyone else's weird shit attached to my baby.
Right. No, I get that.
So, yeah, I don't think so.
And you're trying to. You got 4 years.
I mean,
you got to find.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to do this to you.
I have people interested.
People, well, yeah, I'm sure you're on OnlyFans. I'm sure someone's interested.
None of them are on OnlyFans.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, on OnlyFans. But no, I have people interested. For me, it's more if I'm gonna date somebody, you have to be realistic about dating somebody, right? Okay, maybe you fall in love, or maybe the sex is good. You have to spend every day with that person for the rest of your life. So what I'm really
and probably stop having sex at some point, or at least not have it as often.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not the level of passion. You can't maintain that forever. You'll have sex.
Yeah, it'll go in and out.
Yes.
It fluctorates.
Yes.
My sister's married. She told me it fluctuates a little bit. But, I think it's just more about somebody that you actually enjoy spending time with, that you have fun with. What'd you say? Number one?
That's number one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of more about that. And then, from that, then you think about, are they career driven? And unfortunately, you do have to think, are they financially stable?
2.
Because
3.
Yeah. Because with
career, money.
Yeah. And because it's not.
Because there's people who think they're inventors. Career, no money.
Yeah. Yeah. So, or just at least somebody that works hard, and is driven.
You don't want to be paying for everything. You don't want it to be lopsided.
Yeah, that actually almost happened.
Fuck it up.
That almost happened to me last year.
Pardon my French, but that'll dry up a vagina for sure.
Yes.
Some guy who's just living off of a woman.
Yeah, that was about to happen to me.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Well, as a person who makes money, I bet it's tough.
It's just so I recently just started making significantly more money the past 2 years. And which all has to do with your mindset, by the way. I'm very big into
mindset.
Abraham Hicks.
So we had 3 things in the relationship. Now we're on to how to make money. Mindset.
Abraham Hicks is really great. Esther Hicks, you should look her up. But
Abraham Hicks, who is that?
She's like a spiritual teacher. Her real name is Esther Hicks, but she meditates, and she calls her meditate state Abraham. Because she taps into something, but she talks about kind of the power of your mind, power of your thoughts, the power of your words. And it kind of sounds all frou-frou until you actually do it. And then you see that it works every single time.
Amazing. Check it out. Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, Abraham Hicks. So I started kind of focusing on that and money just kind of significantly like increasing in my life. And it kind of changed the dynamic for me because I just started to more quickly see people for who they were. Once the money element kind of was out of the way. And it's not that I was like gold digging before, but a successful guy kind of walks around with like more confidence. But when you're making the same amount of money as them, you kind of look at their character traits right away because you don't care about the money. So it's empowering.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah. So you're like, I don't care about the money you're making. I care about like what kind of person are you? That doesn't matter to me.
That kind of
anymore.
person probably makes money.
Yeah, sometimes, but
makes sense.
But then sometimes,
there are guys who you like who don't make money, but that's not going to last.
Well, it's not even that. It's really like the hard workingness. But then there's also guys that work really hard and they're just shitty people. And you're like, well, I don't care that you make money because you're a shitty person. I don't want to be around you. So there's that element of it too. It shifts things. I think every woman should focus on their career, should focus on having a fat savings, and before you even start dating.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Kelvin, do you have a dating question? Did you think of something? Is there anything that came up? No. Here, take a second. We do a lot of like this is gonna be a quick pivot, and we'll come back to some dating stuff. I am actually curious about more of what you're looking for in the guy. So you had three things. You had what did you have? I don't even remember. But do you remember where we were?
Being able to spend time with him, like wanting to spend time with him.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You're adding one.
No, that was the first thing. Like just wanting to be with them every day.
You enjoy being with them all the time. They're ambitious.
Financially stable.
And they're making money. They're stable.
Life happens, but at least if you're not like have like a real plan that you're like actually working towards, like don't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this.
Right.
You're either doing it or you're not. Like you're either,
that's going to be in Los Angeles pretty tricky for you.
Yeah.
To differentiate because everybody has something.
Well, and the thing
I was just talking about guys who I've worked for who have a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And they go, I'm an actor. And you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you say, when are you acting?
Yes. What are you doing for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally don't act.
Yeah.
And you lead with acting.
Yeah. And you say that you're an actor.
Yeah.
Well, and it takes kind of a certain, I don't know if this is the right phrase, but kind of like, is it balls to the wall? Like you kind of just have to just.
I like it.
You have to just kind of like, if you're an actor, okay, then just go for it. Don't just say that you're going to, same thing with comedy. Like don't just say you're going to do comedy.
Yes.
Start actually doing it. And so for me, I do have a personality like that. I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at it, but it's really helpful if the guy also has that type of personality because I would like the man to lead me. I'm not a traditional feminist. I am kind of feminist, but
you want to be a woman.
Yeah.
I feel like a woman.
Yeah. I would actually like to be with somebody who could teach me some things, like not somebody that I feel like I'm mothering them. So
yeah.
And
it's tricky to not slip into that a little bit because everybody grew up or actually, you know what you have to do? You have to find a guy who had no mother.
Is that the secret?
I feel like that's the way to guarantee that because people slip into that. It's so easy. I've done that in relationships.
Okay.
Where it's like, well, I grew up with a mom.
And
you're a woman.
Yeah, so you should be my
mom.
my
mom.
Hell no.
And not 100%, but there's things that you do subconsciously. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And if you find if you find someone who grew up with just a dad.
Yeah.
Or even better, no parents.
That's like me.
Yeah, then you're going to find someone who's like completely.
A real winner.
Well, how could they not stand on their own 2 feet if they had no parents?
No one to help them.
Yeah, I'd suggest visiting most local prisons.
I've done that. I dated a guy who used to be in prison. Didn't work out well. We did fall in love though, which is interesting enough.
There you go. That's something.
There's something about me that does definitely like relate to people who have been through trauma too. Just because I've been through like a lot of trauma.
Hey, dead mom? You kidding me?
But yeah, so, but then it's, I also want somebody to be a good father. I guess there's a lot of qualifications over here.
Stuff.
I'm single, yeah.
Yeah, you got 4 years. You'll figure it out.
Somebody.
Yeah, it'll happen. Okay, we're going to do a quick pivot, and then we're going to get a question from Kelvin.
Okay.
We do like movie reviews sometimes or like TV show. Are you watching anything? Are you working too hard? Or you're not watching anything?
No, I watched this show called the OA.
Netflix. Shit, on Netflix. I saw that a long time ago.
Oh my
you like
God. Yeah, dude. That's one of the most, I think it's almost as good as The Matrix. Like I love The Matrix. I think that
Interesting.
might have been second to The Matrix.
There's similarities. It's a TV show, but there's a lot of similarities to The Matrix. It's like a sci-fi, futuristic,
dystopian, kind of like could be real.
Yeah.
Could not be
scary.
real.
Well, and also trauma. The person who the
Yeah.
main character is dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a neurological thing? Like she doesn't know where she is or something? I forget what it was.
She basically, I can't remember if she remembers actually, but she was like tortured underground for like years. No, she remembered it.
Okay.
She was tortured underground for years, and then she was trying to basically move into another dimension. And so she's like, basically, not another dimension, but like an alternate reality. You know, they say that like there's a bunch of different realities based off the choices that we make.
Mm-hmm.
She finds a way, and I'm giving away the whole show. Sorry. Spoiler
It's a pretty
alert.
old show.
But she finds a way to basically, her and these people, there's a lot more to cross through each dimension. And they find each other in each dimension, and it's like the same group of people. It's just very interesting. And, you know, it's something that could be real. I mean, I don't know. Do you know?
If it's real?
I've never been in any other dimensions that I know of, but maybe I am.
Maybe we're in one right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Yeah, I think it's a good show. So out of like 1 to 4, what would you give it? A 4 out of 4?
Yes. Except for the fact that it ended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe 3.9.
Yeah.
Because it's over.
Yeah, because it's over. I wanted it to keep going.
DOA. There you go. You heard it. Heard it here. That's not a new show. That came out years ago, right?
Yeah, I just never watched it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of these shows just sit on the internet. Yeah.
I'm not a huge like TV person. Recently, I've been using it as a way to decompress, but I prefer to be out in the world like, doing things. But yeah, recently I've been like learning to calm down and have a nice night, drinking tea, wine.
And actually watch something.
Actually watch TV.
So you spent years just not watching anything.
I never even owned a TV.
Wow.
Until I think this apartment that I have in Miami, just because
you can waste a lot of time with a TV. Yeah, I get it.
My mom kind of raised me that way, and I'm thankful for a lot of things that my mom did growing up. One of the things, she wouldn't really let us watch TV. She's like, what are you just going to sit and watch TV? Go out and live what they're doing on TV. Don't just sit there and waste your life away.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Go cook meth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I almost did, but yeah.
Don't watch people do it. Go do it.
Yeah, learn
The
how.
Sopranos. Join the mafia.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get it. It's a healthy perspective, and it probably explains why you're doing what you're doing now, because you went out and did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and I had like my 20s. Like I really lived my life. I did it.
What happened in your 20s?
Whatever I wanted to happen. Like if I wanted to do something, if I decided the next day, okay, tomorrow I want to go to another country, I would sell enough stuff, work enough shifts so I could go to that country.
Nice. Where have you been?
I've been to, I mean, probably people have been to more places than I have, but I've been to.
No, it's not a competition. I'm just
curious. Mexico, Bahamas, Ukraine, Italy.
I didn't expect
Scotland.
Ukraine number 3 there.
Ukraine was actually the first place I ever went.
Why is that?
I went on a missions trip there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, right after my parents got divorced, I was 19. I had a bunch of money saved up, and I was super depressed. And so I was like, this opportunity came to me, and I was like, this might be really good for me. And it was, because I got to see all these people just living way worse situations than I was. And so it put a lot into perspective about maybe I'm going through a divorce. My parents are going through a divorce, but I'm actually still so lucky. So that was a really good trip. And I've traveled like all through Europe, just whatever I feel like. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a top story, top thing? What's the craziest thing that ever happened? What do you regret? Were you imprisoned?
A bad travel thing?
Yeah. Anything?
I went to Italy. This is last summer actually. And I stayed like right near near Capri and like the Amalfi Coast. Mm-hmm. There's a city, and my mind is blanking on it, but it's just not a nice city, but it was like super cheap.
Okay. Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Okay. And like, it was really scary walking home at night, because like people frequently were like getting shot. I heard gunshots, and like, Yeah, and I was like by myself, traveled alone.
What does a dangerous neighborhood look like in Italy? Does it look like a regular neighborhood?
Yeah, it just with like graffiti on it.
Okay.
It looks like you're in Rome with a bunch of graffiti.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It was still really fun. Honestly, from living in Hollywood, it really didn't scare me that much.
Hollywood's wild.
I just didn't know what they were saying, but with the homeless people in Hollywood, it's pretty much the same thing. I never know what they're saying
but
either.
It's in Italian.
But it's in Italian.
It's like having a bunch of Italian homeless people.
Yeah, but they were really homeless. They were just like Italian thugs, like hot, I guess. But
there you go. Well, I don't know why this sounds bad.
It really wasn't. But it was a little scary.
You were in danger.
Yeah, but I mean, I was staying at the top of this building. Nobody knew I was in there, but it was interesting. But I kind of like that stuff. I kind of like. Oh, and then I went to the Bahamas. After I went to the Ukraine, I went to the Bahamas by myself, and I didn't have a ride from the airport to the hotel, and I ended up getting a ride with the Bohemian, is that how you call it? Police? The police?
Oh, Bahamian.
I don't fucking know what it's called.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Some of them might be Bohemians. Who knows?
I don't know what it's called, but it sounded right. But I just and they just gave me a ride. And now at like 32, I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, that was so dangerous. There were no cabs, nothing. Like if they hadn't have given me that ride, I would have been stranded at the airport in the Bahamas by myself as a 19-year-old girl. Just so stupid. So that was interesting, but that's kind of how I live my life. God loves me because I'm fucking crazy. I don't know how I made it.
I think it's cool. It's all cool. And being well-traveled is, that's a hell of a lot better for you than watching every episode of Breaking Bad. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think, it's also better that I have friends that lived their life differently and started a family and did all this, and I can still do that now in my 30s. I'm happy that in my 20s I just decided to go against the grain.
Yeah.
So.
That's what your 20s are for.
I think so.
Making bad choices or acting kind of crazy,
or just
wild.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
But it's crazy the amount of shame that was involved at the time. Why aren't you doing this? Oh, you should do this. Or
yeah, totally.
Aren't you going to settle down? I'm like, I don't want to.
Well, you get less and less anxious over time.
Yeah.
And in your 20s, there's peak rebelliousness and anxiety. So you're from my experience, you're acting insane.
Yeah.
And then going why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that I'm acting crazy. It's just act crazy.
Yeah.
Why not do it with reckless abandon?
I kind of just wanted to see what I was capable of. It was well, if I do this and it works, that's pretty badass. And then I get to know the rest of my life. I did that. And so that my 20s was, I would just do something until I could do it. And then after I did it, I was like, okay, next thing. I landed an airplane.
Whoa, on your own.
Yeah, so I did 2 flight lessons.
I think you're the only person on OnlyFans who's landed an airplane.
my first lesson was on the books, right? You learn everything, how to do it. And then the second lesson, you're not supposed to learn to land the airplane, but he just takes you up in the air and it's a co-pilot thing. I can control it, but he can also control it. And so he landed the airplane. I thought we were done. He took back off and he started to turn around and he was like, okay, now you land the airplane. And for me being a gymnast, it's not uncommon for a coach to just make you do something fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it because you're an abused child who's going to get yelled at if you don't do a backflip on the beam. So my instincts took over and I did exactly what he did. I landed the airplane perfectly and he just looked at me. His eyes were so big and he just started laughing. He was like, nobody's ever done that before. I was trying to scare you.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. And then I actually was too broke to finish the lesson, so I quit after that.
But you know a little bit.
Yeah. It was 10 years ago, but I'm sure I could.
You could pick it up.
I'm
That's
sure
cool.
it'll come back into me, yeah.
Okay, we're going to end with some dating questions. Kelvin,
Okay.
have you thought of anything? If not, we're going to use an old one. Oh, Kelvin's got a new one. Sure. All right, say it. Can you give Kelvin your mic?
Microphone? Of
yeah.
course.
Because that's a longer cord. Yeah. There we go. So that everybody can hear.
All right. So since you've been traveling, you said when you were in your 20s or younger.
Kelvin asked the best questions, by the way. Was there ever an instance where you might have met certain people, different guys at different points while you were traveling, and then it ended up going somewhere?
That's actually a very relevant question.
There we go. And nice. And again, Kelvin goes, why do you ask me for questions? First of all, he goes, Ben, why do you ask me for questions? I'm like, if I generate the questions, I know the fucking answer.
Yeah.
There's no point in me asking myself questions.
Yeah.
But also, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, actually, so last August, I did a one-way trip to Europe. I was gone for a month, and I visited Scotland, which for me is pretty cool because I'm Scottish. So my name, Catherine, it goes back to Catherine Kerr, who's like Catherine Kerr and Lord Lothian are I'm direct descendants of them, which they're big in Scottish history.
Okay. Can you give us a brief history? Who are these people?
They were border Scots. I don't know too much about them other than my grandma has been like driving it down my throat for my entire life. So there's a castle there that was theirs.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
So they were like royalty.
Yeah, they were royalty.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to go visit, Scotland. And I was not actually excited to go. I thought it was going to be corny. Just, I don't know, Scotland. Who wants to go to Scotland, right?
I guess. There's a good comedy festival there. You should do that.
Okay.
Edinburgh.
I ended up going to that.
Nice.
The Fringe. Yeah, on accident, by the way, which was very weird because I just scheduled it and then the Fringe was going on. And then I was like, this is like
nice.
Weird.
In August, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably going to go back this year. Anyway, I got to Edinburgh. I think I say it wrong, but
I have no idea how to say it.
Edinburgh, whatever. And it was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just so magical. I felt like I was in a fairy tale. I was so captivated by it. And then I went on a tour, like a ghost tour. And the guy was just 6'3". Like, I don't even like white guys, but he was just like, he looked like a Ken doll. He was so funny. He was a little mean to me, which, that works. And
yeah, that's a traumatized person.
Yeah. And
gymnast.
Basically, like, he liked me too. I could kind of tell. He kind of hurt my feelings when we were out drinking, and
then that's good, right?
Well, no, because I like left. I got upset and I like left. Okay, and then I realized after I had left, I was like, damn, like I was kind of being dramatic, and I don't even have his Instagram, nor do I know his name. I don't even remember his name. And so, like a month went by, and I was just still thinking about this guy. And so I searched up, down, left, and right through Facebook, through acting schools. He's an actor, acting schools in Scotland. Like it was like weeks, and I'm a psycho girl, but it took weeks to find this guy without knowing his name. I finally found him.
Whoa.
And I messaged him, and he basically was like, I was the same thing. Like, I was searching for you. I couldn't find you. Which I found a little harder to believe because you can Google my name. But
if that's true, that might be the first time in human history that two people have tried to stalk each other equally.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he was telling the truth. He didn't remember my last name. And which we weren't together that long. We were only together.
So you just thought your name was Mac?
Mac, yeah, that's all he knew.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of guys.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we were dating for a couple months, but
long distance.
I went to Scotland, and it's kind of
you lived there.
No, I went to go visit him.
Okay.
And I don't want to embarrass him because he's a nice guy, but he just like wasn't doing anything with his life. Like he said he was an actor, but then I found out when I went to Scotland that he was actually working at Krispy Kreme.
I was almost 100% sure you were going to talk about his penis.
Oh, it was great. Everything was great.
But he worked at Scottish Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, and it was not even that. It was not even that. Like he was younger than I was. It was more that he wasn't. It was like he was living this like shell, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. Not ambitious. Just like, too scared.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even break up with him. I tried to have a conversation with him about it, and his ego just took over, and the relationship ended. So that was it.
That's too bad. But that is a good story.
Yeah, it was really magical. Like it was sad, but it was really magical.
But that gives hope to all you guys out there who are working at Krispy Kreme right now. If you're watching this and you're like, I work at Krispy Kreme, my life sucks. Mac will have sex with you.
If you're hot, have a Scottish accent.
No, don't worry about that. It can happen. She's done it before.
He was pretty hot.
There you go. If you're a hot guy working at Krispy Kreme, which I can't really imagine there are many of.
Yeah, I was like,
but if you are.
And then he tried to get me, poor guy, if you ever see this, but he tried to get me to split a bus fare ticket with him.
Whoa.
He didn't, and I'm just like, I'm not going to put him any more on blast than that. But I'm like, I flew out here. I paid my whole flight out here, and the accommodations have been less than great. And you were trying to get me to split a $1.50 ticket.
Yeah, he's got that guy's.
You got to get your life together because that's too much for me. So.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yes on Krispy Kreme, no on splitting $1.50.
Yeah, no on just like broke mentality.
Yeah,
please.
sure.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Mac, it's been awesome having you on.
That was fun.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
too.
good to see you too.
It's been years. I saw you
know.
at the Comedy Store the other night, but I hadn't seen you for years before that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've gotten a lot better at comedy.
Good. And it's a telltale sign that you have if you tell everyone. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm sure you have. You've been doing it nonstop. That's what happens.
Yeah, you know, I just
And you're a hard worker. I mean, that's everything.
yeah, I was just so nervous to go on stage before.
It's terrifying.
And then eventually now I kind of like it. So I think that's the main difference.
If you look forward to it, then you have to be.
You have fun.
Well, you have to have improved to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug?
You can just follow my social media. It's at Big Mac Lawson on pretty much everything. If you want to hear any of my music, it's Big Mac with 2 C's. I'm a comedy rapper. And it's pretty much it. Just hopefully one day I'll be so big I won't have to plug anything.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd
right?
be nice. Yeah.
Check her out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.